In a world with more distractions than ever, it is so rare to feel truly heard and understood. Effective listening is a crucial skill that many think they have, but few truly do. We all know how good it feels to be telling a story that everyone in the room is enthralled by. The feeling when each individual listener genuinely wants to hear what you have to say. But why isn't every conversation like that? Why does it often feel like you're talking to a brick wall? Listening effectively will lead you towards greater success in all situations. I'm going to cover what listening is, its benefits, the process, and a few scenarios to put into practice. There's no effective listening without communication, and there's no communication without effective listening. The definition of listening is to give one's attention to sound, but that definition only says what listening clinically is, not how to do it. In Think Communication by Isa Engelberg and Diane Wyan, they state that hearing is different than listening. If you think about a song that you've heard, and you've heard it a million times, but then you finally sit down and listen to it, you'll finally hear its meaning. They shared that 50% of information is lost immediately after listening to a talk. The authors point out that good listeners grow relationships and connections, and they even appear more trustworthy and likable. Now that we know a few facts, let's move on to what it does in our brains. In Think Communication, we see an acronym from Judy Brownell, and it's the Brownell-Hurrier model. And she is a leading listening scholar, and it outlines the listening process. It begins with H, which is hearing, and that is the literal understanding of the sounds. And then understanding, which means that you grasp the meaning of the words. And then remembering, which interprets the information and retains it so it doesn't fall on deaf ears. Interpreting, which helps us emphasize the emotion of the speaker. And we have to be able to evaluate, which says if it's true or false. And then finally to respond, which is to prove to the speaker that you comprehend what they said. All of those processes are passive, but growing your skills is very active. There's lots of ways to grow your listening abilities. Certified speaking professional and PhD in speech communication holder Stephen Boyd suggests to force yourself into an environment where you have to listen, to prove yourself. For example, if you're going to a meeting, to sit front and center of the speaker so that you demonstrate your willingness for feedback, and so that there'll be limited distractions because you're in the direct eyesight of the speaker. It also will keep you more accountable. Boyd also suggests to be very aware of your emotion and to respond to attitude. You have to see what emotions the speaker is displaying so that you can empathize with them. He recommends to have open posture and to lean forward, and to also use hand gestures to show that you're enthusiastic about what they're saying and you care about them. He says to avoid closed off gestures like cross arms, and also to avoid nervous tapping so that you don't appear anxious or bored. Boyd recommends to ask open questions, like about how they feel or about them. Everyone likes to talk about themselves. He emphasizes that it's so important to not speak the moment that they begin, the moment that they stop speaking, because everyone likes to talk. There's so many different ways to grow your skills. Effective listening is the key to success. Without listening, there is no communication. There's no thriving in the workplace and relationships. We need all of these tools to improve our listening skills, but they do need to be practiced. Author Ralph Nichols wrote a quote, and it says, "The most basic of all human needs is the need to understand and be understood. The best way to understand people is to listen to them.